Keeping your motorbike in tip-top condition is one of the best ways to stay safe while riding. Here are 9 things you can check regularly at home to ensure an enjoyable riding experience. These rubber donuts are the only thing connecting you to the road, so ensure you give them a thorough check over at least once a week. Inspect them for any imperfections and make sure they've still got a nice rounded profile. Next, check both tyres are inflated to the correct pressures. If you're not sure, you'll be able to find the correct recommended pressures on the tyre placard. While you're at it, don't forget to check the tread depth. Some bike tyres have a tread depth indicator built into them, otherwise you can use a tread depth gauge. Visibility on road is key, so make sure all your lights are working. Starting from the front to back, turn the bike on and make sure everything is working correctly. A tip for checking your brake light if you're by yourself is to wheel the bike up to something reflective like a car or even a wall and hit the brake light and you'll be able to see it reflecting off the surface. Your engine needs oil, so be sure to check its oil level regularly. This is easily done on most modern bikes by checking the sight glass built into the crankcase, although some older bikes still use a dipstick. If you don't have a bike stand, get someone to help you hold the bike upright so you can check the oil level. And if it's low, make sure you use the correct viscosity oil to do a top up as soon as you can. If you don't know what to use, check your owner's manual. While you're checking liquids, be sure to check your bike's coolant level. This one is air-cooled, but most modern bikes will have a coolant reservoir, which is usually translucent, so you'll be able to see the coolant through it. Next up is brake fluid. The reservoir for the front brake is usually up here, right where the front brake is, while the rear brake's reservoir is down around where the foot pegs are. Again, make sure the bike is upright before eyeballing the fluid levels in each reservoir. It's also a good idea to remove each cap and check the rubber seal around it and that the brake fluid looks consistent in colour. Brake pads are another important thing that every rider should be keeping an eye on. They can be tricky to see, but if you get in there with a torch, it's a bit easier. Make sure you check both front and rear and that there's plenty of meat on the pads. If they're down to a few millimetres, it's time for replacement. Now it's time to check your chain's tension and lubrication. Have a look through your owner's manual as to how much vertical free play your chain should have. If you're not sure though, or you don't have your owner's manual, a good rule of thumb is usually between 10 and 25 millimetres. Make sure you also use a good quality chain lube after you go for a ride while the chain is still warm. Apart from keeping it looking good, washing your bike regularly is a great way to spot any areas that might need extra attention. A gentle hand wash will do the job, but make sure you don't get any soapy water near the electrical components. Instead, use some detailer on a microfiber towel to get around those tricky electrical components. Last but not least, you should be taking care of your bike's battery. Check it every few weeks for any corrosion buildup around the battery terminals. If you don't ride often, get yourself a suitable battery charger, keeping in mind that not all are the same. Of course, with all of these tips, always make sure to check your owner's manual for the best practice for your bike. And if you're not sure, consult a qualified mechanic. This is by no means a definitive list, but it is a great start to keep you safe on road. Have you got any more tips? Let us know in the comments.